The view of ourself or our self-image can be greatly distorted once it goes through the harrowing experience of trauma, especially childhood trauma. How we see ourselves growing up, our self-image and our self-acceptance can be greatly affected due to this. So, as EFT tapping is a stress reduction tool and it can cause a lot of stress how we view ourselves, we'll use EFT tapping to reduce some of the stress around this. So, taking full responsibility for your own well being and repeating after me, let's go with the flow and let's begin to tap. Even though I might not see myself in a good light, and my image of self might not be viewed with kind eyes when I look at myself within the reflection, and I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself, even though when I view my image, my body image, I might see it with a sense of disgust, and I might not like the person looking back at me. And I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself, even though who I am as a person may be clouded by all the negative thoughts that are telling me that I'm a terrible person. And I'd like to clear some of this so I can see myself with kinder eyes again. And I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. All this self-image, all this image of self, how have I been viewing myself? How do I see my body? And do I see my body with disgust? And is there a lot of shame in my eyes? Or when I look back at myself in the mirror, of all these failures that I see within myself, all these flaws, all of these parts of myself that I feel are just not good enough. And I might want to change a lot about myself, either in my personality or in my physical appearance. Because who I am is not who I want to be. And what I want to be is furthest away from who I am. I just see myself as a failure, as a thing of disgust. And I feel a lot of shame within my body. And I just don't want to be me. And deep within me, there's a person that's hurting. A person crying out for love and acceptance. But I keep telling myself all these bad things about myself. That I'll just never measure up. I'm just not good enough. There are parts of my body that I look at in disdain. And no amount of cutting, no amount of modifying No amount of starving myself or gorging myself with food really changes the feeling within myself. And I look to others for love by ways of modifying my identity, so they might not know who they're truly loving in the end. Because I really just don't want to be me. I want to be the me that gets acceptance. I want to be the me that gets love, as I seek it from people who see me superficially by the qualities of what I present. But what I present doesn't represent how I truly feel. And though my looks might fade, this hurt seems to stay within me. All this trying to measure up when I feel depleted of self-worth. How much of myself do I need to get rid of in order to be accepted by other people who only want to see me for what I get rid of? But I still see the failures. I still see the things that I just can't seem to change. This past that I can't run away from. This past that is deeply affecting me. Of when I tried to be something and I just wasn't good enough in my caretaker's eyes. So I tried to change my personality and either hide away those parts of myself or deeply hurt myself so they couldn't be seen. So I couldn't be seen by a person who saw me as a failure. All these caretakers, all these people that should have accepted me with love, yet looked at me with jealousy and envy and disdain and all the things that they just couldn't be. And I came along with my natural beauty. And they naturally wanted to tear me down, as it was a poor reflection in their eyes of all the failures that they represent. And so I was given a lot of messages that my looks were there to be made fun of, that I just wasn't good enough in comparison to others, and I should be ashamed of myself for how I look, how I act, and just generally me as a person. And that's not a very caring thing, to say that someone should be ashamed of themselves. It's a very shameful act for someone to wish shame upon someone else, especially if they're in the position of loving and caring and nurturing a young mind, to teach them not to hate themselves but to love themselves. And I might have learnt some lessons along the way where I had to hate myself and I wasn't allowed to be myself in order to be accepted. Because if I was that ugly thing in someone else's eyes, who viewed me with jealousy, then I was not a threat to their existence or their poor sense of self-worth. Who I am as a natural, beautiful human being is not deserving of wishing of shame upon me. And if I've done shameful acts, I can learn and grow from these. But it's not how I should define myself or view myself with disdain. All this having to modify myself to fit in with people who truly hate me as a person, so that I can get acceptance from people who view me with disdain. There might not be anything left of me if I value people who devalue me more than I value myself. This is not the life that I want to live for myself. I'm recognizing all the anger that I directed towards myself. I'm recognizing that I was thriving within my surviving. Because there's a part of me that's here now, wanting to thrive a little bit more, free from having to survive, from the harsh words that were said to me. Who I am as a person is not the ugly words that were said to me. I am not the ugly things that I tell myself. I was just trying to survive in a very toxic environment with very ugly people around me who said very ugly things to me. And I mistook this for love and acceptance. I don't think I want to be mistaken anymore. I'm reclaiming my identity. I'm rebuilding my self-worth. I'm grieving my parts of myself that I was truly angry at. I'm grieving this loss of self so that I can start a new life for myself, where I do value myself and all my imperfections are so beautiful to me. I'm not imperfect. I'm not imperfect. And neither am I perfect. I am not the things that I have to measure up to. I am deserving of love and acceptance by how I choose to define myself, and not confine myself in the ugly words that were told to me. All these definitions that I've been telling myself, all these labels that I've had to measure up to. How I treat myself and how I treat others will be the beauty that I will remember myself by, and hopefully others too. All this self-image, all this image of self, all this self-acceptance, all this acceptance of self. I'm accepting myself in the good times. I'm accepting myself in the worst times. I'm not berating myself in the worst times. I'm learning so I can get back to the good times and avoid those worst times a little bit longer. And how I view myself will constantly change, but my self-love for myself will internally power my light and make me feel lighter within myself, no longer weighed down by these harsh words. And hopefully someone who loves myself for myself will be drawn to that light as well. And not all the lights that I have to put out, so that other people can see me when it's not me that they're truly resonating with. I'm being me for me. I'm accepting me for me. And I'm loving myself, all parts of myself, in mind, body, and spirit. And taking a full breath in and out. Yes, it can be quite hard upon ourselves when we have been conditioned with these beliefs that have been more designed as traps to keep us from leaving situations where we view ourselves with confidence, with self-worth, with empowerment, because these things, for a person that sees that with a poor reflection of themselves, that have the complete opposite of that, is a threat to them. So it's better to tear someone down, to bring them down to their level, and to make them feel the same way that they did, which is not a learning experience. It's just a co-oping experience, a co-oping into the same pain. So freeing ourselves from that and getting some emotional freedom within our life. So I'm Dion. I offer EFT tapping one-on-one online. So check out Affirmations Support Services, affirmationsupportservices.com. And also check out the intro half offer, so you can ease your way in. I guess that barrier of entry gets less and less, so we can try it out and see if it's right for us. EFT tapping, working on reducing stress around the things that cause us great stress in our life. So check out affirmationsupportservices.com. And until the next one, bye for now.